In the United States, there's a prison where anger and hate are palpable, embodied in the eyes of one particular inmate, Jason. Once a man with a happy family, a beautiful and caring wife, and a bright future ahead, his life was turned upside down in an instant. Masked bandits appeared out of nowhere, taking his wife's life and leaving Jason holding the murder weapon, dazed and confused. Unjustly accused and sentenced to 50 years in prison, Jason was transferred to a private prison on an isolated island, surrounded by the most vicious and bloodthirsty felons. But things took a turn for the worse when one day, someone insulted Jason during breakfast. What followed was a brutal fight that caught the attention of the prison's dictator, Julie. Julie had a plan to turn the prisoners into assets and boost the prison's profits flying car races. Death row inmates were forced to become drivers, pitted against each other on a treacherous track littered with obstacles and cameras. One driver stood out from the rest, a masked man named Frank, with superhuman strength and a winning streak of 3 races. But in the 4th race, he was sabotaged and targeted by his opponents. Now, with Jason thrown into the mix, the stakes are higher than ever. Will Jason succumb to the anger and hate within him and become just another statistic in Julie's twisted game? Or will he find a way to turn the tables and fight for his freedom? The world is watching, and the outcome is uncertain. In the first 2 games, the drivers had to eliminate as many opponents as possible to secure a spot in the final round. The 3rd game would determine the true champion of the competition. Despite initial struggles, Jason was able to take the lead with the help of his navigator, Keith. However, when Julie activated the traps and weapons in the 2nd lap, Jason had difficulty activating his own weapons and was fired upon by the other drivers. With his life on the line, Jason had to use all his driving skills to evade the attacks and mount a counteroffensive. The race was not just about winning, but also about survival. Green's heart raced as he tried to swerve to avoid the sudden flat tire, but it was too late. The car careened out of control, flipping and spinning through the air. 14,000 watched from a distance, knowing that this was the perfect moment to strike. As he gloated over his win, he caught sight of Jim's provocative gesture, which reminded him of his wife's killer. Distracted, he was blindsided by Jake, eventually finishing in 6th place. His car was riddled with holes, and he vowed never to race again. But Julie had other plans, blackmailing him with a photo of his child and forcing him to compete once more. That night, Jason confronted Jim in the workshop, but he was no match for the killer's wrench. Fatty arrived just in time to save Jason, and the two fought back against Jim. Eventually, Jim revealed the truth behind the murder of Jason's wife, and the prison guard appeared to save him from Jim's wrath. The 2nd race went ahead as planned, but Jason had a new target in mind, Jim. He raced back onto the track, ignoring the chance to win and instead focusing on revenge. Jim fired wildly at him, but Jason had a plan. He activated his smoke grenade, which temporarily blinded Jim and caused him to crash. Meanwhile, Julie had unleashed the Dreadnought, a killing machine with heavy firepower. 2 drivers were killed in the chaos, and the 14,000 was left to die. In the 3rd race, Julie pulled out all the stops to stop Jason from winning. She controlled the sensor system and gave all the resources to Jake, who fired relentlessly at Jason. But it was all part of Jason and Jake's plan to escape from prison. They broke through the walls and evaded the police, ultimately stopping them in their tracks on a bridge. The race was over, but Jason had won a different kind of victory.
The fact you have thoughts like these might make someone question your...
6 months later, Jason and Jake had made a new life for themselves in Mexico, running an auto repair shop and living in peace. And when Keith joined them soon after, Jason knew that he had not only regained his freedom, but also found new friends and a new love. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this.